rejection is a part of any man's life. If you can't accept and move on past rejection, or at least using it for writing material, you're not a real man. Jiraiya Sensei.
This proverb means,
As a man,
I think of,
I would say,
to me,
Yo, rejection is something that everybody has to deal with, bro. It's inevitable, like a mug, you know what I mean? And if you can't at least just write that down to remember it so it'll never happen again, you got some growing to do, bro. I mean, you got some things you need to change about yourself.
acceptance, kind of like I think of forgiveness, and that is like it's a gift that we give to ourselves. It's not for anybody else. It's personal.
moving on is one of the greatest things that everybody should learn. And maybe not as far as like the writing material. Maybe they don't use it as writing material. Just use it as a learning lesson, something of value. When things come about, in your next life experience, you have something to re-embark on, to know what your next move is. Every day is a life lesson. You always learn something. So, I mean, if you can't move on with it, I wouldn't say you're not necessarily being a man. You just haven't learned yet. Take things as you go every day and just adjust and enjoy it.
To me, is if you don't take your no's and turn them into yeses, you basically aren't living life. You can't let no's or things that you can't get or access at that moment stop you. You have to be able to take constructive criticism. You have to be able to take different things that you may not be able to accept and turn it into a yes. Because in everything or somewhere in your life, you're going to receive a no or something that's just like, it's not going to work. And you have to learn. Everything's a life learning lesson. Your no's are always a life learning lesson. How to improve yourself, how to improve things in your life. Just anything around. Constructive criticism is always considered, I guess, a rejection because it may not be what you want.
And we have to accept being rejected because it's going to happen regardless. It's no use holding on to that hurt. Might as well take your L and learn to roll with the punches.
I feel like rejection is about perspective, because the thing you love or the person you love or something, and being rejected by it could make you feel like your whole world's been obliterated. But then where perspective comes into play, I don't know, sometimes you have to destroy before you elevate. So you can look back at it and be like, I did that. Feel good. Feel accomplished. See, you're good.
Hi, I'm Nye with Touching Basic. We are going to talk about exploring oneself today with my co-hosts.
Alright.
Charlene.
Jasmine.
El Cheeto the Finesse.
And Quan.
With exploring oneself, the way we should maneuver, or we will be maneuvering on this podcast, is mind, body, spirit. And if I'm the leader, I will start with my mind and say, I have a lot of anxiety. And I know that it's so deep to start with, but what do y'all do for y'all anxiety?
Man, I start making beats in my head. I'm a drummer. You feel me? I'm a musician, so it's like
me too.
I just be like, all right, let me just chill out. I'll try to calm down, and I try to remember like some of the discipline that I gained from being on the drum line, and be like, so don't work all the time, but sometimes.
Do you get anxiety when you have to play in front of like large crowds?
No, I don't get anxiety when I have to play. Not anymore. Like I used to in middle school.
Yeah.
I get anxiety.
Man, I still get it.
I do too. I'm about to say, I get anxiety over like, even when it comes down to like social groups. And that's how I started recognizing I have a little bit of social anxiety, because I find myself kind of being the wallflower and not talking enough unless I know everybody in the group. And I know like how they interact on their own time, when they mad, they happy, they sad. And you may be comfortable to be around you when you're in those emotions.
Right.
But when it's like larger upscale groups with people I don't really know, I'll be thinking too much. Like I'll be creating scenarios that might not never happen, but it just...
Like the social anxiety you're getting?
Yeah. I do, because I will be so quiet, and sometimes I forget to like talk because I go into my own world. Like I know how to coexist, but I also know how to like go on autopilot, and I forget to get off. And you could be in the room. I could be like me. I'll be in the room and forget like, okay, you're supposed to be interacting. You just going through your emotions, and now you just shutting yourself out.
Yeah. And now people thinking you weird for sitting in the corner quiet. Been through the same thing.
Like it's hard. And then if I'm not having social anxiety, I talk too much. It's no in between at all. What about y'all? Like for me, what about you, Tyrell? Because you deal with all kind of people.
Yeah, I'm more of a social butterfly, but I do have like my introvertness,
Like being a performer. Yeah, like being a performer, like since you rap in front of people versus like how Donnie plays the drums in front of people, they don't necessarily have to see Donnie. You could hide doing what you wanted to do if you really wanted to. They'll hear you. I guess.
Look, I have been to church where they just don't have a camera, but they got a drum set, and they'll just randomly put the drums in front of everybody. Like the audience is right here, the pulpit is right here, the choir is back there, the organ is over here, the piano is right here, and the drums is right in front.
Right in front. That's exactly how ours set up too.
Y'all sure about this? Okay.
Oh, there ain't no hiding. Just kidding. What about you, Charlotte? Like, how do you deal with or how do you recognize you come into having anxiety?
I have it bad, kind of, but I have triggers, I guess, for my anxiety. I have a lot of social anxiety, but I'll start to like bite my nails really bad. I know you noticed. And I kind of got to talk myself down in my head. Just talk to myself. That's why I do meditation a lot. And praying. Yes. That's really what helps me. I feel like anxiety comes from fear, though. So you got to figure out what you're afraid of and tackle it like that.
I agree with that.
See, like, what do you do, Jasmine? How do you recognize it and how do you deal with it?
Okay, with me being a control freak, I think of the worst. So that's where my anxiety comes from. You know how there are people who think of the worst, and there are people who like say it's going to be okay all the time. They're like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be cool. It's going to be all right. For me, I don't really have social anxiety because I've dealt with big groups and done stuff from dancing to teaching people how to swim to talking. So I don't really have a problem with approaching people or talking in large groups. But when a scenario comes up and I don't know how to solve a problem, that's when it happens. So I kind of have to go with the flow because I don't think things are going to be all right. I always think of the worst. It can go either way for me. So I just kind of have to let everything unravel itself.
Like, I got a quick question about that. Like, being that you have children, what do you think you would like to pass on to your kids for their anxiety? Like, what would you like to at least let them know so that either they can recognize it or deal with it? Because I feel like anxiety happens too when we're young. I noticed my anxiety when I was younger. Like, I didn't have to be in middle school. I think I was probably in like elementary school when I really started recognizing, like, okay, I don't like the whole social gathering thing.
I just didn't know what to call it for the longest.
Yeah. So, like, what would you do, or how would you recognize it to teach them to, like, it's okay?
I can already see it. So a lot of people don't realize that kids have social anxiety. So they be like, why your kid not messing with me, or why they me? And it's like, whatever energy that you are giving off to my kid, they're not feeding it. It's not good for them. They're not vibing with you. So, I have to tell them it's okay not to talk to people. You talk to them when you're ready, when you feel comfortable. Letting them understand that their feelings are okay. If they do get overwhelmed, calm down, take deep breaths. Let's count to 10 and let's start back at 1 and try to get them in a comfortable setting so that they don't basically pretty much have a panic attack, because that's pretty much what they have when they just start bawling out and screaming and crying out of nowhere. Because, like you guys say, being in a social setting is a fearful thing. You'll either hide in a corner or be quiet. For them, they don't know what to do at this time. We know to just go sit back and observe. They don't. They're just like, I don't know these people. Who are these people? These people are new. I don't know. They're just feeling all the energy from other people. And one thing about it, kids are really in tune with their energy and vibes. People just don't know that. They think just kids are just either spoiled or just crybabies, pretty much. So just basically reassuring them that it is okay, everything is fine, and how to handle their emotions.
Because, like, I know growing up, the way we talk to ourselves is so important. We do good, we tend to, you feel me, gas ourselves up. We do bad, we tend to attack ourselves. Right. I have a problem with both. But not necessarily like, if I do good, I don't have to like be my own hype man. Like, yeah, you feel me, it's okay to pat yourself on the back. But I struggle with, okay, when you do good, expect it because you put in the work. Like, I mean, not everything will go like that. No, you could be trying your hardest and still fail. But it's like, I try not to live in that ego moment. Because that's the same little voice that be messing me up. Because when I do bad, I really attack myself. I'm like, girl, what is happening? Like, what did you not do it right? And you be knowing, like, it's out your control. At least I know it's out of my control, but I just am still dwell in it. And then it just turns so negative and toxic to me. And then I have like the hardest time shutting it off when it does open up like that. Because it just, I don't know, when I get sad, it seep over into like other things. Like that energy really does spill over into like every other avenue of my life until I finally be like, okay, look, cap this. This need to go back to wherever it came from. Shake it off. Like, you good, girl. Like, what do y'all do to like cap it early and make it stop? Because I need to take some notes right quick.
I just gotta breathe.
Yeah, you got
sometimes
to breathe.
Breathe it, yeah.
Sometimes I just like fuck it. Like, I mean, sometimes I address it and I just be like, yo, what's going on? Like, what's up? What's going on? I go to the person and I ask them, like, how are they feeling? Or I'll be like, I'm telling you how I feel based off your actions. I try to get it done like that. And sometimes it don't really go so well because everybody don't be really level-headed, you feel me? Like, sometimes, especially when you, like, work with people, it's like you're in a fast-paced environment and people get frustrated and you might not be, like, the person in charge, but, like, you can sit back and observe and try to get things done rather than running around and being frustrated, And it's like when you get like that in that type of environment, people kind of get like defensive.
Fancy, yeah.
It's like they just think that you're, I don't know. They just get real defensive. Like they feel like you trying to be better than them, and it's like the more you try to resolve it, the worse they get because they just not thinking that way. They just like, no, you're doing this. You're coming at me, and I'm trying to get this done. You know what I mean? It's like they'll be like, you're not helping. It's like, y'all been here the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I be looking like sometimes when like I've watched other people say, like, for example, you fail a math test. And I see how it can take somebody to such an extreme high. And I think it also comes from like premeditated ideas of what you, like the people around you expect. So it's important what you allow into you because they put this sort of like unannounced and sometimes announced pressure upon you. And so you got to conquer for yourself and you got to conquer for them because if you fail, you go be hard on yourself, of course. But then somebody else will come right back and harp on you too. And I don't know if the person harping necessarily recognizes, okay, this is a fresh wound. I don't need you to harp on me because, I'm going to harp on me. The teacher going to harp on me. Like, now I got to study and figure out what's not connecting or whatever, like you're having a hard time with. Like, I don't think people associate let a little time pass right quick. And I think that's how we inherit, at least for me, that's how I inherited it. Because my dad was like pro school, pro get A's, pro do not fail, because what are you doing? And so it caused me to be like, okay, I have to like be Wonder Woman when it comes to school. Because if not, I'm finna hear it from every which way I could get it. Versus my mama. Mama, like seriously, like, but my mom is just like, it's okay. Like, you'll be okay. Like, try it again. Don't fail 3 times though, but try it again.
Don't fail 3 times. She'll
gently let you know, like, okay, I see you. You failed. It's all right. But, you know, give it another try. And if you keep failing, it just might not be your thing. But that doesn't mean be mad. That means look at other avenues of what else you can do. Sometimes you gotta fail to know this is not for you. Like, she kind of instilled that into me a little bit. So I knew for certain levels of anxiety, it's okay to not be good at something. And it's okay to let it go. Like, but it's just when it opened up and really opened up that thing like Pandora's box. Like, What do y'all do for, like, I guess you'd say, if you're going through something that you know is out of your control, like really out of your control, but it affects you immediately, how do you press on through that? I pray.
Like what?
Like Carlin said, I pray.
Like what? Example.
It's like, I know, like for me, the only things that really cause me a lot of strife has to be death with people I'm really close to. Like, I tend to take that pretty hard. Other than that, I don't really care too much about a lot of, and it's not like I don't care, but I know other
hold
people
as much weight.
Yeah. At least, because I don't know, growing up in like California, we lose friends left and right. Like, me and my brother went a whole year losing a friend each month. I'd never experienced something like that. Like, I'd experienced losing friends, but I'd never experienced going through a 12-month year, losing 12 people that were really impactful to me. So at that point, it was just like, all I could do was pray. Because then it's like, I'm not even praying for just me. I'm praying for your family as well, because you know some of the same people. Your child just went through this heartbreak of losing some of the same people we did, and now you lost your child. So it was just kind of like, that's all I had. Like, I don't know how to explain that. Like, my meditation, yoga is important. Because yoga seems to be my meditation, where I get to do it. It's quiet. I can hear myself. Like, I can talk to God. And sometimes even before I start praying, just hearing myself, you can sort out some of your own problems. If you really, like, take that time to really be one with yourself, that's kind of like, that helped me a lot. I find myself getting up before everybody else, before the world really get up. Like, what do y'all do?
When I really need to get clear on something like that, I might do a fast, and I try not to eat anything at all, really. I'll do juices and water, but I feel like it helps my mind to be more clear, because the food that we eat kind of affects the way we think too. So I'll do that, and I go deep into prayer, and then I feel like the answers kind of come to me. With death, that's something you can't really get much answers on. I mean, it's a big mystery, but with other things, if I need like a specific answer, like a business decision or something like that, that's kind of how I do it.
You are what you eat. So, I mean, energy is a definite factor.
Yeah.
It comes down to your way of thinking, or just any course of action, you know, because your emotions carry everything. So.
What about you, Paul? What about you, Jasmine?
I usually usually when I got stuff like that on my, I just lose myself in music. Honestly, I'll play a whole bunch of songs like I really, love, feel connected to. Sort the rest of the shit out.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, how you say music. I was seeing on the internet, it was a meme, and everybody was just like, "Oh, I need to stop playing sad songs when I'm sad." And
You're making me more sad. But sometimes sometimes I think it's good to play the sad songs to get the sadness out, and then I feel like that's an outlet. That's a good outlet.
You gotta sit with your feelings.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's something I'm just getting used to because I used to just stifle my feelings. I feel some type of way. I'll just try to ignore it. But I've been doing better with embracing it.
Yeah. I think if we ignore them too long, it just gets built up. It's gonna come out in the wrong way.
When I like something like death, I don't be really because the way I think of it, I don't really harbor over it too long because first off I try to prepare myself for it, especially if it's like an older person that I know is bound to just go.
Mm-hmm.
Then other times when I feel like people, when they have whatever religious standing they have, if they're like content within themselves that they good, I just feel like I don't really have to like or really trip. Didn't really give any second thought to it. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I wouldn't like just be like, oh, I don't care. You know what I mean? But like, I give the respect that's due, but I try not to harbor over it. And then being like that kind of caused me to not really know how to feel certain times.
How did you recognize that your numbness? Because I have a little bit of numbness because I don't attach easy. So it I think I was explaining this to Charlotte, and a couple of y'all already know this. I need traumatic experience sometimes to show me how I really feel because it'll draw that out. Versus it could be little things and I just feel it like y'all, some other people will. I don't know. I don't have that.
I just make a switch. All right, so I got this thing, right? Now, this is going to sound crazy. So, in my mind, what I take from psychology is that I have different aspects of myself within. So, I have this round table of me's. They're different versions of me, like an angry version, a sad version, a happy version, a nonchalant version. And it's I'm talking to myself, you know what I mean? From different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one is talking with the most sense, and I feel like that emotion can make the most progress, that it just takes hold. You feel me? And a lot of times it'd be all right, don't worry about it, do what you need to do. Because, when you got to handle stuff. So it's just be oh, the building just blew up. Gotta take cover. You know what I mean? I know everything's going on. Yeah, a whole bunch of people just got hurt and all of that, but I'm not trying to die right now. So, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I just can't. There's certain times I just, I don't know. I just wasn't motion to it. And then after I would take cover, I would just be like, okay, the building.
I wait it out sometimes. I kind of relate to that with the me's. My me's will wait it out, and then one of the me's will come about and be like, all right, it's safe. This is how we feeling right now. But I don't know. I think that me rubs people wrong because people don't be expecting somebody to be reserved and kind of be patient with themselves. I don't know. I feel like I get that a lot in our generation, or maybe it's the people I'm around or something. And now I'm recognizing it's okay to step away. You ain't got to step away from people forever, but you outgrow some people in some things, if that makes sense. Because I think for me, I was getting ill vibes. You feel me? If you feel ill or whatever, maybe not ill, but you starting to feel some other energy, and it messed with your feng shui a little bit. It does. And I think I was going through that a little, where I like to wait before I always answer, because if I answer too quick, I could be mad at that time. So I learned self-discipline. Not all the time do you have to react just because the situation is right in front of you. It's okay, step back. Situation gonna still be there because you ain't gave your side of it yet. So how can you close? And I had to teach myself that because I was just like, when I was younger, I wouldn't react at all. I would just never come back to the situation. And then I would leave other people feeling a little like indifferent. And as I got older, I recognized like that's selfish. Like you don't want to be bothered, so you let them sit there and be bothered. And now you dealing with your own problems and you dealing with my problem because I didn't come back. And I guess as an adult, recognizing that in the transition to being an adult, I learned like it's okay. And then I learned like let go of certain things because certain things attract certain people. And I was realizing like some of my friends aren't my friends. It's just that common ground we had for whatever we was doing at this time. Yeah. And that showed me too, like, okay, your real friends gonna be here regardless. Like you could go move 1,000 miles away. You can stop doing this. You can y'all can fight it out, get back together. Those is your real friends. As long as that energy is still the same when they come back. And so that kind of showed me that be mindful of what you surround yourself with. Because it was just to take a step back and just look at other people and what I called my family and my friends. That's how I learned, like, change is okay. Change don't mean, like, you better than nobody. Change don't mean you less than somebody. So this is why you want to be better, because you want to be on the same playing field or something. Because I watched that, too, growing up with some of my friends, where, like, say, even one of y'all doing something, like, so, like, high profile. Other people would want to turn around in the group, want to talk behind that person back with us. And it'd be like, but you're not congratulating people. You just now trying to see how you could boost yourself up because you mad you're not on the same realm with them, even though they worked hard for this. We friends, like, we family. We saw them put in the work. Right. And as I got older, I recognized, like, okay, that should tell you about who jealous, who not. It just show you stuff, like, even about yourself. Like, what do y'all do? Like, how'd y'all know
I always kind of been real, like, spiritually inclined. Even before the big spiritual movement thing, I was like a devout Catholic person. So I always had a strong faith. And so I always just trusted the process. Like, I feel like God brings certain people in our lives to reveal stuff about life and about ourselves to us. So I just trust my experiences. Even if I get around a bad crowd and I realize a year later, like, it was a bad crowd, I know I've learned something from that experience. Mm-hmm. So what about make it easier to sever ties, you know?
Yes. Yay.
I mean, I didn't grow up Catholic, but I in the spiritual understanding, you know, everything is energy, you know, so it's all about how you carry yourself, how you receive to be able to react to it or not react, you know, that's literally chemistry, science at its best. You know, when you're mixing the wrong chemicals, you're going to have a wrong reaction. When you mix the right chemicals, stabilize. And that's really all about your attitude at its best, too. Or base understanding.
I feel that. How you say it's about your attitude. Because you got to be real enough to look at yourself and realize, like, we all got toxic traits. Like, it's not always the other person. Like, it's not. I can be open with that. Like, I got some toxic ways. Not a lot, but it could vary depending on what the situation is.
Everybody does. Everybody. But it's how you deal with it is the ultimate thing for each individual.
Exactly.
We all can't handle situations the same.
Like, how do y'all recognize y'all toxicness? I recognize mine because I'm playing too much.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's exactly how I recognize mine. Playing too much. Like, and she get mad when somebody else get mad.
Yeah. Like, that be the main thing with me, like, playing. Like, somebody tell me I did something, or I came across them wrong. Now, sometimes this messes me up because I laugh at it. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at myself. Like, dang, how did I miss that? You know what I mean?
Right.
I just try to be like, yo, you know what? I take that. That was my L. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we move forward? You know what I mean? Because I do sometimes I do too much. That's why when I get around new people, I tell them like, yo, don't even play with me like, because you're not ready yet, bro. Like, you need to really get to know me before you take it there, because I be having fun and I be tripping. Everybody don't be liking my type of fun. You know what I mean? So it's like
I feel that too. Because I'm kind of the same way, and it comes off like especially if you don't know people, it comes off as insensitive. Yeah. So sometimes you gotta. So for the most part, if I meet new people, I'll chill out, check the temperature. See, you feel me? Like, I can't just jump in wilding. Because like Donnie, I joke about everything, bro. Like, I go by, like, if you ain't gonna laugh about it, you'll cry about it. So it's like, try to turn everything into a little joke. But yeah, I can see how that can come off as, insensitive. And as far as toxicity, how I knew I had low toxic traits. So I have real friends that will tell me so I used to apologizing. I had a problem with apologizing because I felt like if I meant something this way and you interpret it a different way, that's on you. That's how I feel. But then I had to take a step back, like, maybe it came off like this. So I used to be like, oh, I apologize that you felt that way. I don't really apologize for what I said. So you see how that's is dismissive. But yeah, that's something I'm still currently working on, but definitely way better. So, at this point, I take accountability for most of my actions for real.
What about you, Jasmine? How you recognize your toxic trait?
Being a control person is you can become very toxic because you want to control everything. I'm not a toxic friend, but a lover, yes.
Friend.
I'm a good friend, but as a lover, I'm very toxic. As Quan said, I can say something to you. I meant what I said. Now, how I said it may have been bad, but the principle or the message behind it, I meant. So I will apologize for how I said it, but not what I said. Like I said, it's not which says how you say it. I may have. I knew what the meaning was. So, and I mean, that may still hurt people. And it's like, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I really meant what I said. And I can't really apologize for what I meant, because then that means I'm kind of being fake to you by saying, oh, I'm sorry for something that I meant. No, I meant that shit. Like, if you took it that way, that's your bad.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. It's a form of basically constructive criticism, but it's like being really harsh with it, being blunt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm toxic. I'll say something so mean to you, and then next minute be like, "Oh, I love you." You know how you confused, like, what?
Oh no.
No,
I love you.
But at the same time, I meant and feel both things. That's how I know that I'm a toxic person, is because delivery style needs to be different and more sensitive. Kind of like, how they say people are nicer to people they don't know and meaner to people that they, love and care about, and people don't understand why it's like that. It should be the opposite. So that's basically where my toxic is. I should be sensitive to the people I love and care about more than somebody off the street, pretty much.
I feel that.
But some people have that dynamic though. Like me and my friends, like, if y'all just sat in, just listen to our conversation, you'd be like, how are y'all friends? Like,
I think it's like that with a lot of males that have a group of real friends, because it's like we're just with each other, like, but it'll be funny, but it's like we know it's, but it's funny. It's just the way it happens. Like I have,
or just be the level of understanding how far they can go.
Yeah, because with girls can be very catty. and it be like unnecessarily catty. And it could be avoided. Your point could have been made, but you ended up pissing somebody off, saying how you feel. Now they don't care how you feel because you was doing too much. And now y'all just not being friends because you was doing too much
extra stuff.
Yeah. Or I come with like a lot of girls. I've had a couple guys do this too, where somebody will do something and just because they're over it, they think you over it. So no apology needs to be issued out.
Yeah. Right. Sweeping stuff under the rug. Yeah.
I think that's a problem.
Like that.
I think that's a problem amongst people, period, though. Like, the communication aspect of it is like, I don't think we give enough room for communication, like, after something like that happens. Like, sweeping under the rug is a common thing, even amongst, like, family, like, friends and stuff. I feel like, well, personally speaking, I don't know about y'all, but it's like, a lot of situations I've encountered over my life, like, with other individuals or whatever, it just seems like, even though we may be quote unquote over it, is still not, I don't think it's still addressed. Like, people are more comfortable with just walking away from the situation than addressing the situation.
Yeah. I don't think people know how to have healthy conversations because I feel like when people like don't agree, they forget it's okay to disagree. Y'all don't have to be on the same accord. The agree to disagree is the same accord in a way. And I feel like people just be like, oh no, it's just confrontation. And they associate, oh, if I feel bad, that means be mad. Not like, I think that comes from conditioning because not everything that we do, breakup don't mean be sad. Stop being friends with somebody don't mean be sad. Like, it's just how we've been taught to think of, okay, I got to associate these feelings with this type of this, and that versus how you really, really feel. Like really addressing your situation.
That's true. It has to go with acceptance. If you can't accept something, that's when your emotions really come into play. And I had to realize that through a hard breakup. I was just like, it's just not going to work. There's no need to be sad. You have to come to realization of acceptance. Some stuff is just not. Now, when you can't accept stuff, just like with death, you're going to cry. You're going to, feel different types of ways. Like for me, death is different because I know life has to end. So like with the older person, I can accept it. I won't be boo-hooing. I won't be crying. I lost my great-great-grandma this year. I wasn't boo-hooing at the funeral. I was smiles. I listened to everybody else. At the end of the day, I knew her time was coming. Now, it'd be different if I lost like a kid or a younger cousin or something. It'll be like, why, did they die? I wouldn't be able to accept it because they're so young. But when they're older, I'm like, yeah, they lived their life. They had time, they done the stuff they wanted to do. I can accept it. Yeah. So even with breakups, anything in life, to go back to our proverb with rejection, if you can accept it, you'll be okay. Your feelings will be fine. If you can't, then you'll just feel all different types of ways.
I feel like our generation, we don't accept rejection. We accept it in a way that's kind of toxic where it turns into we got rejected. Now we got to go, excuse my expression, but shit on somebody who rejected us. Instead of like, it's like everything with our generation some way, somehow ties into some weird competition other than just being what it is. Like, not everybody, I don't know. Like, and then they see people who don't compete and then we get labeled as, oh, we think we better. And it'd be like, I don't know, our generation got some things going.
But we grew up like that. I mean, in school, everything was a competition. Like, you get a star if you complete this, so everybody's trying to do this, Playing sports is a competition. But now it's kind of a competition to do better than people. Like, everybody's trying to prove themselves and basically not accepting who they are. Yeah, so they want to be accepted by other people.
They trying to
social media.
They accept, and they're trying to use the reasons why they accept the people they're watching and apply it to themselves, and it be messing them up, bro.
That's that social media.
And it's damaging. It is like, come on now, it is damaging. I mean, for dudes, it's hype. If you ain't tall, if you ever listen to dudes, they do not like being short. For women, their beauty, their hair, and all of that. No, really, I've listened to dudes and they're like, yeah, I'm tall. I'm 5'9". I'm like, you're short. You're not 6 feet.
You're 6 feet.
Bro, why is under 6 feet like short though? Like women on average are like 5'4", 5'9" shouldn't be short. Like,
but for me, I'm a little person. I'm 5'4". I don't see myself as little, but I'm little. But if my hand can touch the top of your head, you're short. Because I'm short.
wow.
We're short.
Hey, that's wild. That's wild.
But there's
She
nothing
said if I could touch the top of your
with being
head.
short. There's nothing wrong with being short. And that's the thing. You don't have to be tall.
It depends on who you're talking to, because I'm short and I like it. You know what I mean?
He said he 5'5".
I mean, because it's really, for me, it's always been like, when I was younger, it was like, it was kind of like really competitive because I wanted to be better than everybody that was bigger than me because everybody was bigger than me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it and watch this. You know what I mean? So when I got older, it was just like, well, I don't really have to do it. I just have certain capabilities. Since I'm my size and you're your size, it's better for me. You know what I mean? So I would just take those things and just shine. Like, I just love it. So it was, I don't know. So
that's a form of acceptance right there. You knew you were short. You knew your abilities to do things that people at 6 feet couldn't do.
And you cool with that.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like only thing I really see that I struggle with acceptance with, it comes probably to like hair. Cause I be mad. I can see these people with these giant fros, and mine can do it when it wants to, but it don't stay like theirs. And I just be butthurt. I can't even lie to you. Cause I just be like, what is happening? Why is my fro not participating? Like,
because you have a different hair texture. Your hair is your hair. Their hair is their hair. Now they may want their hair to be like yours.
Yeah, exactly.
I be butthurt. I do. I be looking at these luxurious, like flexi rod fros, and I just be like, girl, like this little hair.
You just gotta learn to accept it. Your hair, you found your style pretty much already. That's your style. That's their style. And once you learn to accept, like, you know, we got different hair. My hair can't do that. My hair can do this. So,
like,
you gotta find your uniqueness and the differences.
Like, weight don't bother me. The way somebody dress don't bother. Like nothing. It's just the fros. It is the battle.
She said the fros.
You said the battle.
You got a cool little fro though.
I'm saying,
I'm mad.
I mean, well, see, that's a lot of women are like that when it comes to like
hair.
The aspect of beauty. You know what I mean? And just different things. With men is more like materialistic because of what we think people like.
Yeah.
What we think women like for sure.
That comes like mental, like knowing your self-worth. I feel like that falls under
definitely.
Because like as you do your spiritual journey, you begin to really love yourself. Or at least you're supposed to. I did.
Yeah, I be feeling that's why I have moments where I have to dial down because it's like I'm good all the time. And even in bad situations, I be stressing in my mind. But on the outside, I know if I do certain things in a certain way for myself, like when I look at myself, it's better for me. You know what I mean? And it'll just keep me good. But sometimes people don't be in those type of moods, and I just be like, "Hey, man, it's all right," and they be like, "No." You just be conflicting sometimes. You know?
I think the only thing, at least being that we're all Black, me and Charlotte had touched bases on this actually yesterday. I think we have to learn self-love when it comes down to brown skins, light skins, dark skins. That has to be one of the biggest toxic battles. At the end of the day, we're Black. When you die, you go on the ground, you're going to see Black. So you going to turn blacker than what you already are. Let it go. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, that comes from way back when we're house slaves and slaves in the field. But at the end of the day, we all are Black. No one's better than nobody.
Yeah, just different shades, man.
I don't know. Some of y'all melanin a little better than mine, so you know.
I think
you
can accept other people easier too. So
yeah. I think that plays a big part of that. Once again, I feel like that also goes back to like social media. They hype up the yellow bones, they hype up the red bones, and then they kind of hype up dark skins, but it's got to be one of those.
That's trend. It's a trendy hype with the dark skins, though.
Like body got to be banging, face got to be banging, hair got to be laid.
You got to be super exceptional.
To be accepted as a dark skin girl.
Yeah. But you know what? This is my thing. With dark skinned women, they be fine as a like they be so beautiful, bro. And
they do. Speak your mind.
People just be hating, bro. Because now this might sound
so beautiful.
Right.
I don't know. A lot of light skinned people look the same, so it's kind of.
Whoa.
And no,
we
not
can't say that.
No, you can't say that. We yell at the right for saying that.
Well, it's like no. That's just how I be feeling sometimes. You know what I mean?
Everybody has their preference.
Well, maybe you're talking about like the highlighted, like lighter skin, like
I think he came
celebrities.
No,
I would agree that a lot of these celebrities do be having the same face.
Yeah, because they go to the same surgeon, same hairstylist.
Yep.
The same. They put on makeup.
Like I'm thinking you're talking about everyday light skinned person.
And dark skin girls don't.
The dark skin girls be having the best skin, and dark skin men be having the best skin. If
they really do.
At it, they skin
really
be just and I just be like, see, that's why they don't like y'all, since y'all skin better. So it be secret hate on the low.
Yeah, there's really no rational reason why they don't like dark skin.
Definitely. There's definitely no legit reason why people should do that at all.
Thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for watching Touching Bases podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And I hope at the end of the day, you loved yourself more than you did yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Follow us.